Fire and brimstone coming down from the skies. Rivers and seas boiling.
40 years of darkness, earthquakes, volcanoes.
The dead rising from the grave.
Human sacrifice, dogs and cats living together, mass hysteria.
Enough, I get the point.
Welcome back to Thinking Critical. This is Wes. As many of you know, I happen to be a very big fan of the Batman White Knight universe. Definitely an enormous fan of the very first volume from Sean Gordon Murphy. And he's been building up this idea, this Murphyverse, that was going to be its own shared little Batman quarter within DC Comics, that it sounded like he was going to be kind of like the head guy, where he'd be in charge of creative, bringing in the right artists and whatnot, and kind of moving this idea of the Murphyverse forward. We have not really heard much about it. We've heard, we certainly got Batman White Knight. We got Batman White Knight, or Curse of the White Knight, the sequel. We got the Harley Quinn tie-in that was with Katana Collins, his wife. And then we also got that Batman White Knight Freeze one-shot special. But we haven't really heard anything lately. I haven't seen a comic book that Sean Gordon Murphy is written or illustrated in quite some time. And we've been wondering what the hell is going on. Is the Murphyverse done? Has Sean been working on it this whole time? What's happening here? And we got this teaser from the Sean Murphy Art Sales Twitter account. Now, Sean Gordon Murphy actually left Twitter a couple of years, like a year and a half ago. Whatever. It was after that stupid stuff with Mags Visaggio, with the love bombing or whatever. I guess he said, fuck this. And he did the right thing and got out of there. But you do have this Twitter account that's still associated with Sean Gordon Murphy, and it says there's a big DC announcement coming soon. Here's a sneak peek, and when the picture, what appears to be, I'm assuming this is Neo Joker. I think she's going by Jack now, with the Batman shirt on and the pink hair and stuff, and it says, "Sorry, I'm late, puddin'." And that is the sneak peek of what is to be announced. This has to be associated with Batman White Knight universe. Is it going to be an announcement of an entire universe with multiple titles? Is it going to be an announcement of the third volume from Sean Gordon Murphy himself? It would make sense. Like I said, we haven't really seen a lot published with him. He did have that crowdfunding campaign. So perhaps he's been working solely on that for some time, and now he can finally announce the Murphyverse and get working on that, the third volume, in earnest. I'm hoping it's going to be a little bit bigger than that. Fingers crossed, because I really do like the idea behind this. I've immensely enjoyed the first volume. Did not enjoy the second volume as well as much. I thought there was some issues there, but I'm still on board. And certainly this sneak peek, this teaser, has some heavy implications behind it. We know that in the second volume, and hey, if you haven't read it yet, it's been out for a few years now. Well, I think a couple of years now, that we saw the demise of Joker within the White Knight universe. And Neo Joker saying, "Sorry, I'm late, puddin'," indicates that perhaps we will have the return of the Joker. That's certainly what Harley Quinn calls Joker in the animated series. The animated series certainly was heavily influential on Sean Gordon Murphy's White Knight universe. Now, I do remember when Sean Gordon Murphy was laying out his rules for the Murphyverse, and I believe that tweet no longer exists because Sean Gordon Murphy's Twitter account no longer exists. When he laid out the rules, I think he did say all deaths will be final. Now, is he breaking his own rules already? If they don't exist anymore because he got rid of the account, does he even have to adhere to them? This is the way I take this sneak peek, but I think this is very exciting. When I talk about the last 5 years of comic books, I've talked about with this with Perch on the channel. I think I've just talked with you guys about it. I think there are 3 DC comic stories that have been put out that will be in print in 20 years' time. There's only 3 that I think have real longevity, have some real legs to them. Number 1, we'll go with Doomsday Clock from Jeff Johns, Gary Frank, where they had the merging of the Watchmen into the DC universe, which ended up really being kind of a love letter to Superman, and how that character is essentially the very beginning. No matter when he shows up, he's the beginning of the DC universe because he's the foundation of it. I say Batman 3 Jokers will have legs, although I didn't particularly love the story. I think on its own, as its own story, in 20 years, people will still gravitate to it because the Jeff Johns writing is good. The Jason Fabok art is even better. And I think once it gets away from all the hype that was leading up to it, that we got at the very end of that Dark Side War and the DC Universe Rebirth issue, once it gets away from that and all the hype is gone, I think that story will have legs. And the Sean Gordon Murphy Batman White Knight story, I do believe, in my opinion, will still be read in 20 years. I think it has the makings of an instant classic, and I think it's one of the few comic stories that we've gotten lately that will absolutely stand the test of time. So I am very much in favor of seeing the third volume, and hopefully even more than that. It sounds like we need to stay tuned. We do know recently, I guess we did have San Diego Comic-Con. Didn't sound like a lot of stuff was happening there, but Emerald City Comic-Con is going on this weekend. Sean Gordon Murphy is there. Perhaps there are some DC personnel there as well. And I don't know, maybe some things are finalized. I'm not really sure. But it sounds like if you are a fan of the Sean Gordon Murphy White Knight universe, you are going to be getting good news in the very near future. I cannot wait to have this. And I hope you guys are as excited as I am for the next installment and hopefully expansion of Sean Gordon Murphy's Batman White Knight universe, also known as the Murphyverse. What do you guys want? We know we got the hint that Jason Todd Red Hood will be in the third volume because we saw Batman is in prison at the end and Jason Todd comes to visit him. What other characters? Do we want a Superman in the Murphyverse? Do we want a Wonder Woman in the Murphyverse? What other characters from DC Comics lore do we want? Should Damian Wayne make an appearance? Perhaps, Tim Drake or maybe some of the other Robins, Cassandra Cain. I think Sean Gordon Murphy would do lights out work with Cassandra Cain, a character that is far too underutilized, and when she is utilized within DC Comics, is kind of laughable. So I think there are a lot of exciting implications. It's it's like a blank slate. What is it? You don't even know. These characters could be in the universe. They could not. We will not know until the announcement is made, and we actually start getting some of the details behind this. But I personally am excited. I definitely want to hear from you guys what you're excited about and what you want to see in Sean Gordon Murphy's next installment of the White Knight universe. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like. I would appreciate it very much. It helps us attract more views for the channel. Subscribe for future commentary, comic book news, and reviews. And don't forget to ring the bell for notifications. If you want to talk comics, movies, and much, much more, you can follow me on Twitter at Wes_from_TC. With that, Salamat Po, and I'm out.